Well, Brett Johns, myself, I'm a professional mixed martial artist. I was fortunate enough to fight in the UFC. I was the first ever Welsh fighter to fight in the UFC. Maybe not to sign, that goes to my close friend Jack Marshman, but I was the first Welsh fighter to fight in the UFC. Um, I'm a guy who's coming into his 26th professional fight. And to be completely honest, I'm happy. I'm happy with the way my career has been, the wins, the losses. For me now, it's just about the journey, and fortunate for me, now in my career, I'm starting to enjoy mixed martial arts as of before. Maybe in the UFC, the big weight cuts, being in the wrong team, I felt like I wasn't enjoying really. But finally, I found a good home 5 years ago in show mixed martial arts, and now it's led me to here, Marbella, August 9th. It's being in the UFC was definitely a dream of mine, and it's a dream of many other fighters as well. I think every fighter who is a professional has some sort of dream about achieving that goal. To put them black gloves on, which say UFC across the side of it, is an honor. No matter what nation you come from, whether you come from Wales, whether you come from Spain, to have them letters across your glove, it means the same thing. It means achieving goals. I come from a small town in South Wales, and where I come from, not many people get to do what I've done. So I'm very, very honoured to have had the career that I've had, to represent Wales in the UFC, to represent Wales in WOW FC. It's a really great honour. If you were a fighter trying to achieve that goal of reaching out to the UFC and get into the UFC, there's only one blueprint and game plan. And a lot of fighters think there's some sort of secret supplement you have to take, or whether you need to know the right people. It's hard work. I've worked very hard. I've sacrificed a lot to get to where I am. I've sacrificed birthdays, weddings, funerals to be where I am today. The journey is tough, but if you're willing to stick it out, you will get there eventually. And the good thing is that the level of competition right now to get to the UFC is so difficult to get there. But if you're one of them fighters who is willing to sacrifice a lot, I'm certain you'll get there. We had a few offers after our last sort of stint in my MMA career. It's been a long year. Things have happened and not happened, and things have fallen through. And then we sat down a few months back, and me and my coach and manager, Richard Shaw, we sat down and we spoke about the potential opportunities of fighting. And there was plenty of promotions out there to choose from. We had some good offers for some good promotions. But for me, it was more focused about what promotion can I go to, which is starting to make some serious noise in the MMA world. And WOFC jumped off the page. We can't go any further than talking about Ilia Topuria as well, and how much of an influence he's had on Spanish MMA. And I look at him and look at how successful he's been, and then I compare that to WOFC. I think the Spanish, not just MMA, but Spanish martial arts, is starting to turn a new page, and I'm starting to see a lot more fighters who are coming from this region as of 5-6 years ago. It's amazing to see the amount of fresh faces. It's amazing to see the amount of fans coming through also, and it would be really nice just to have a nice little new fan base out here in Spain. I've got to be honest, the experience I've had while being here has been one of my better experiences in my whole career. I'm even including being in the UFC. We've been treated very well here, and I'm very grateful. And if you are a fighter, especially in our region in the UK, who has interest in fighting professionally, I definitely suggest coming out to WOW and checking the guys out, because like I said, we've been really looked after, and it's a really great honor to be here, and it's nice to see that they're willing, and their understanding of the sport, and they're willing to get people over here to make this promotion, to make WOFC well known and well heard in the MMA world. You know, I've also seen the new belts, and yeah, they're very nice looking. You know, some people might not know, but I was a former Titan FC world champion. I was a Cage Warriors world champion, and there's just I got one on one shoulder. I've got one on one shoulder. I'm just missing that middle one, really. You know, I look at the champion Nikolai Grozdev, such a fantastic fighter, so technical. If Saturday night goes well, then definitely that's something that potentially we could put together is me and Nikolai. But first, I can't look past Levan, because Levan is such a good fighter as well, all round, really tough guy, very heavy hands. We can't be looking past Levan. So of course the championship belts would be nice, but first, in the Starlight, August 9th, we've got to take out Levan first. When we found out that we were fighting in Marbella, it was such a good. I fought in some many places, some good, some bad, but Marbella was one that got my attention. You know, anywhere in Spain. Spain's a lovely, beautiful country, but when they said Marbella, it definitely piqued my interest. And we've got a lot of British guys out here already. I've got some good support back home in the UK that are coming out, especially obviously, of course, from Wales. But like I said, this is it's a big opportunity to come out here and fight in Marbella, and hopefully it's a good experience. I just want to thank everybody who has been there, supporting me for my whole career, and just a little bit of advice for anybody. You know, this is an ever-growing sport. This is fast becoming one of the most growing sports in the world, and I think that looking at the bigger picture, I think a lot of Spanish fighters will be coming through the ranks over the next few years. You know, we have a really strong scene in Wales. The UK has a really strong MMA scene with champions like Michael Bisping, Leon Edwards, Tom Aspinall. You know, Spain's got their first one, which is Ilia Topuria, but I see many more coming from here. And it would be nice to see the rise of Spanish MMA over the next decade.